Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Mathews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the program. It's Podup with Mathews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Be joining us here in just a second. We'll talk a lot of Gator sports, spring sports. We'll also get his thoughts on the Super Bowl. Let's head to the Titan MRO hotline now, and we're joined by Edgar. Good morning, Edgar. How are you, bud?
I'm fine, Shane. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, I got you.
All
Edgar,
right.
real quick before we jump into Gator athletics, just give me your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Was that one of the better Super Bowls that you have seen?
I tell you, remember when the game used to stink like every year. You remember the game used to be terrible.
Yeah.
Like it was never a good game. And now it seems to always be a good game. There've been a couple stinkers, but yeah, it was a classic, great game. A lot of people were upset the way it ended. The young man said he grabbed the guy's jersey. That stuff, it was pretty minor. It goes on all the time. But how much time? I didn't dig in yesterday because I'm shifted to Daytona. I'm like all Daytona starting yesterday. I'm leaving in a little while, but for the track. But how much time would they have had? You would know. I mean, as a coach,
minute 30 with no timeouts.
They would have had that much time?
I think so. I may be wrong. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head.
I was guessing they had like 30 or 45 seconds additionally, maybe.
No, because I think it was like a minute and something when they threw that pass that Mahomes overshot him in the corner, which it would have been, dead ball. They would kick the field goal. So I think it would have been around a minute 30. But
that's significant.
Yeah, it would have been exciting to see. Look, I thought it was a holding call. It was very minor, but it should have been called. I'm sure other things should have been called during the game as well.
Exactly.
But the Eagles had their opportunities. The Chiefs just dominated them in the second half. So, Edgar, before we move on, I want your thoughts on this. People think I'm crazy because I've been saying it the last couple of years on the podcast, and I may be crazy. I think Pat Mahomes is going to go to more Super Bowls than Tom Brady.
Some people were, so I listened to this one podcast, Kevin Clark, The Ringer, called Slow News Day. It's a really good podcast. He's great. He was like an intern at the Sun Sentinel in 2009. He's an Orlando kid. He's like 21. He's like a star in the business. Such a talented writer. His podcast is great. It moves it along really well. But he's saying, he's predicting 4 rings minimum for the guy and upwards of 6. And the guy's unbelievable, man. And, him and Rodgers play the game differently than a lot of quarterbacks have. I'm a Marino guy personally. I thought Manning at his best was even better than Brady probably when they were at his best. But Brady's longevity and just his success, those are the guys I'd be talking about, though, as the greatest. But Mahomes is in the conversation. So we'll see what he does. He's freaking phenomenal improvisational guy. The way he can just see things and just casually just dumping passes off. He looks so calm out there. It's nuts.
Yeah, he's only 27. He's been to 3 Super Bowls, has 2 wins. I just think he's going to do it as long as he stays healthy and Andy Reid's there, because Andy Reid can call some ball plays.
Oh, my Lord. No.
Edgar, real quick, I forgot this weekend is Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Are you a big race fan, or you just you just have to go to cover it for the paper?
Well, it's an assignment. I've been to 10 races as a fan, though. Daytona. Now, I'm not going to go dig in on like Martinsville. I'm from Virginia, and that was a iconic race, but I've been to the Richmond race. My stepdad, late stepfather, was really into NASCAR, man. The guy would listen to it on the radio on set, doing chores or whatever. I'd be like, man, this guy's a lunatic. But I get the appeal. It's a cool sport. The drivers are great. I mean, the access is phenomenal. I mean, I wrote a story on Joe Logano today. I mean, he called me on Monday. It's like you get access to these guys that I can't get I can't get a Gator player, I mean, Joe Logano's calling me. The guy's the Cup Series champ. So yeah, the access is good. The Daytona 500 for Floridians who have access to maybe going to that event. I strongly encourage it. It's a experience, so you will shift your thinking on it. Like, oh my God, this is actually really entertaining. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the race. It's a fun week. It's a busy week. But, I got to do a lot of cool stuff this time of year. Then I got to Bay Hill in 2 weeks, and I got TPC the week after that. So my schedule changes a little bit. It's not just all Gators.
Hey, Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking of golf, before we get into the Gators, I want to get your thoughts on what you've seen on the PGA Tour so far. And I thought I read somewhere where Liv, I don't know if there are any financial issues, but I thought I read something where Greg Norman was talking about how they need to sell more merchandise or something. Did I read that wrong?
I didn't see that, but they need to generate some revenue. I mean, all it is money going out. I mean, this TV deal, I think they're not making any really money on it. I mean, you can't just keep pouring money into something and not getting any return on the investment. I mean, the Saudis have more money than, anyone, so they can burn through billions of dollars and not even think about it. But, this Prince Salman, right? His net worth's like 1.6 trillion or something, just the guy, his family. So they have sick amounts of money. So they can just do this as a hobby, and if it doesn't work in a few years. But yeah, so I wrote a story, in fact, that's going to run tomorrow too, on this Netflix documentary. So Shane, since last Monday, I've written about 8 different sports. That's kind of where my world is right now. Well, yeah, and a lot of Gator sports too, but some, like I have a big story today on the PGA show and some of the things I saw there that finally ran, I wrote last week. But I have a story tomorrow on the Netflix doc, Full Swing. So Drive to Survive is really popularized Formula One racing. A lot of people who weren't into Formula One at all are now big fans, which is kind of what I'm saying about Daytona. Go see a Daytona 500 and tell me you didn't enjoy yourself. It's a really exciting event. But Full Swing is like a behind the scenes, deep dive into the PGA Tour, 8 episodes. And so I wrote about it today. It sounds great. I'm going to be into it. I'm going to be watching. It starts tomorrow. So anyway, that's for people that are golf fans, but it might make people golf fans too, is what they're kind of hoping. But there's a live element to it. Like Brooks Koepka apparently is talking about his career and like how he was at the top and how disappointed and dejected he is because he's not anymore. You got a lot of guys on that tour, man, who've seen better days. And a lot of these guys, they all kind of have a little something about them too. They're not the most popular kind of guys. So it's an interesting dynamic. They're going to be in Orlando though, man, at the end of March. They're having a tournament, Orange County National, March 31st, April 2nd. Live.
Yeah, there's so many good players on the regular PGA Tour now, young guys that people may not know, and some of the same names. Scotty Scheffler goes back to back. So where are they playing this week?
Riviera. A lot of people. This is a lot of people's favorite tournament in terms of the media. I mean, the course is fantastic. It's always great weather. I mean, I shouldn't jinx it, but yeah, it's usually great weather. It's a great event. It just comes at a bad time for me to really watch this one. But Phoenix is always fun. Scheffler, man, I was wondering if last year was kind of like, lightning in a bottle. No. I mean, he beat Rahm soundly. Rahm's already won. Rory's won. You get the big names winning. JT shot 65 on Sunday. The tour is still a great product. I mean, it's missing a few key players, but it's still a great product, obviously.
A couple of texts on the Titan of our text line before we move on. This is from an anonymous. No, this is from Chris in Mayaca. He says, Shane, how can a field be so bad in the biggest game of the year on the biggest stage, referring to the Super Bowl, the turf there. You know, if people aren't, they grow the grass outside at these stadiums and they slide them in on these tracks.
Yeah.
But I thought they said something, this was like a new type of Bermuda grass or some new formula they put together. But yeah, you would think that they would test this stuff out before the biggest game.
I didn't really, I caught wind of it. I didn't know the details on it. So it's Bermuda, huh?
Well, I shouldn't say that. I think it is, but I think most football fields are some form of that.
That stuff's slick, man. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't even like that field turf. I mean, it all beats the old AstroTurf from like the 70s. It was creating, as I plan on concrete, like throw a piece of carpet on your floor and like, you know, fall on it. But yes, you'd think that they could do better with the agronomy and all the technology now than they did the other day with that. Yeah, I've been to that stadium multiple times. Obviously, the Gators won national championship against Ohio State in that stadium. But I've been up to a bunch of games. There's several games, and it's funny because you can see like they have the field. You can see how they could slide it in and out. It's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, the Raiders' new stadium does the same thing. Another text on the Titan and More text line for Jim. He said, Edgar, did you attend Coach Spurrier's street naming ceremony?
I actually didn't, and I thought, you know, and I'm sure it was great, and Coach is always entertaining. They didn't plan it well for me. I mean, it's like the gymnastics team was playing that. I mean, it was going that night.
Right. Yeah,
totally. I'm telling you, man. I mean, Coach, fantastic. Love him. Always great quips. I'm sure it was a fun event. That gymnastics meet on Friday night was spectacular. Those young women are the most entertaining athletes on campus. It's the best event on campus. It blows the basketball atmosphere out of the water. They packed the O-Dome. It was nuts. Trinity Thomas got a 10 on the beam and should have gotten a 10 on the floor. The freshman Kayla DeCello got a 10 on the bars. They rolled. They beat Missouri by almost 2 points, which would be like a 5-touchdown win. Franz Beard was there. He said it would be like winning 80-0. I mean, they just rolled them. They are so good, man. They play Kentucky, or they host Kentucky on February 24th, which is actually my birthday, and my best friend's flying, and we're gonna be playing a bunch of golf. I probably won't make it, but again, encouraging people who are watching, if they're tickets, I go see them. Trinity Thomas is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's where are they? They rank like second or third in America right now.
They were third going in the meet, but then they had the second best score. Oklahoma's the only one with a better score. But they're just, you know, like Jenny Rowland talked to afterwards, the young women they're all, you know, performing so well. It's giving her lineup options. There's a lot of strategy. I mean, you figure out what your lineups are, how you can score best, how you manipulate the scores. Because in the end, they lost last year to Oklahoma by 0.125. So, you know, it's a matter of just like a stumble, you know, can lose you the national title. I mean, you have to be perfect. The way these young women just get onto the balance beam is insane. Much less what they do on it, the way they like spring up and get on the dang thing. I mean, we would have all knocked out all your teeth and broken a collarbone. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Yeah, they really are. Ruse Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give us a call at 352-240-1779. A few more minutes with Edgar Thompson on the Titan and More Hotline. All right, Edgar, real quick before we jump into the spring sports, which are in full effect right now. You got any updates on Gator football? What's going on there?
No, I mean, we talked to Billy during signing day, but no, we really haven't. They're doing an event tomorrow with some technology. I'm just not going to make it. So I VU or something. What is it? Do you even know what this is?
I got emails on it, but when it comes to technology, I know nothing
Virtual
about it. Don't
production
understand
studio.
it. Yeah, it's way over my head. I have a hard enough time working my phone and the internet.
Yes, I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to be there. You know, the Big 12 Oklahoma and Texas are now leaving the Big 12 officially in 2024, a year early. paying $50 million each to make the move. They saved 25 each. I think it was 75 original buyout, and they're doing a combined 100. It's funny. I was just listening to the College Football Inquirer, the former Yahoo Sports podcast, just a bit ago, and they were talking. And Ross Dellinger from SI, he's like mapping out, because what they're going to do is they're going to expand to 9 games. Is the thinking? They're going to be 3 permanent opponents. Have you talked about this on here?
A little, not a lot. Because...
Okay, 3 permanent opponents and 6 rotating. So every 2 years, you're going to play like everybody, every whatever years it's going to be. You're going to play everyone, which is cool. So your 3 permanents. G. Allen Taylor, who's my buddy, and he's over at Athletic. He's been on here. He's great. He's predicting what I thought it would be: Texas, Auburn, and I mean Tennessee, Auburn, and Georgia. Makes sense, right? Everybody wants Auburn back. You got to play Georgia, and then Tennessee, of course. You lose LSU, which has been a great crossover rivalry. Okay. Ross Dellinger, Georgia, Oklahoma, he's hearing. No, he's hearing this. Dude, this guy's plugged in, man. I'm telling you. South Carolina. That's his 3 permanents. I'm like, what? So I don't know. That seems way far-fetched to me. I agree with the G. Allen thinking. That's what I thought it would be all along. What do you got there?
No, I agree with G. Allen as well. I think it's got to, I mean, geographically, it makes sense. I mean, Auburn's the closest place to Gainesville, so we need to play them every year. Georgia, obviously, and then Tennessee makes perfect sense. So I know Ross Dellinger, as you said, is tapped into a lot of sources, but that makes absolutely no sense to me.
South Carolina?
Yeah, well, I mean, Oklahoma makes no sense either.
Oklahoma's crazy, but at least you have like 2 stalwart traditional power programs there. But whatever. But that was an interesting little twist there.
All right, we talked about the Gator gymnastics obviously having a tremendous year. Basketball lost a terrible game to Vanderbilt. They play, I think, tomorrow or Thursday. They play Ole Miss. Pretty much
Wednesday night here.
Yeah, Wednesday night. So pretty much no chance of making the tournament unless they win the SEC tournament. Would you agree with that?
I mean, look, if they win out, which would include winning out of Arkansas and beating Kentucky here at home, sweep 6 games, and you get to 19-12, and then win a tournament game and lose 120-13 with the schedule the Gators have. But that's a big ass. They just lost at home to Vandy. I mean, Vandy just lit them up from 3. They knew they were going to shoot 3s. And they gave up, like, I think Vandy hit its first 4 threes and like 8 shots at 9 or whatever to open the game. Is just that this has been a defensive team, and there was no defense the other day. I'll tell you, though, that Liam Robbins, the Vanderbilt big man, ooh, he's sweet. I turned to Brockway. Kevin Brockway, who covers the Gators for the Gainesville Sun, is really a basketball guy and knows his hoops, man. He's a really informed hoops guy. And I'm like, Kev, is that guy better than Castleton? This was 10 minutes into the game. And he goes, they're pretty even. And by the end, he's like, he just moved well. He just had a really nice touch. Guy hit 3 3-pointers. He's flipping in hook shots, 7 feet, big body, runs well, 32, I think 11 and 4 blocks, including 3 at Castleton. That's a nice player, man. So, in Stackhouse, I mean, he's doing a decent job there. Not like great, but he's not like a joke. So, but you don't want to lose to Vandy in anything, in my opinion, but men's golf and baseball, maybe. That's it. You don't lose to Vandy otherwise.
I have to agree with that statement. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Darling Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker, Raymond Paris, provide you fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. Edgar, speaking of baseball, the Gators, I think, crank up Friday night, but softball went down to Tampa and just smashed the softball, scoring tons of runs. I think they play tonight in Gainesville against JU, I believe. Are you more of a baseball or softball guy?
No, I was out there talking to Tim last Wednesday. I did a story on Tim Walton for Friday's paper. He might of team sports. I know track's a team, but not. I mean, it's individuals, collection of individuals in a way too. he might be, I mean, just coaching a team. I mean, might be the best on campus. The guy's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
the guy's like
I agree with that.
80% winning percentage, 1,000-game winner. They're good at the College World Series. 11 out of the last 14 they've made. The guy's a stud, and he came here and took over a program that really was maybe had a little bit of success a couple of years and has turned it into a national power. I mean, this Skylar Wallace is just absolutely a five-tool player, just an incredible talent. Had an amazing year last year. The team's stacked offensively. It's going to come down to pitching. You know, they don't have like the ace, like the Kelly Barnhill or the Lauren Hager or what was the girl, Stacy, what was
Nelson.
Stacy Nelson. So yeah, they don't have the ace, but there's a young woman, Lexi Delbry, I believe, who he's really high on. He feels like she's a 10 strikeout, kind of double-digit strikeout performer. She had a surgery or off-season injury. So she emerges. So it's going to be by committee there, but man, they can score some runs. And he just knows how to maximize what he has with his team. And last year wasn't a very good team for his standard and still got in the tournament. He's made the super regionals. But yeah, this is a pretty good team, and he's doing it, you know, we'll see what kind of run it can make. But I'll tell you, it's going to get better too, because they have the #1 recruiting class of like all time coming in, including Jason Williams' daughter, and then, you know, 2 national players of the year. I mean, it's just like an amazing recruiting class coming in next year.
Yeah, he's done a phenomenal job. You know, I joke that it's death, taxes, and Gators to OKC every year. That's the way it works.
Yes.
There's no question about that. All right, before we let you go, Edgar, who's going to win the Daytona 500?
Oh my God, you can't predict that race. It's like just nuts. It'll be last 25 laps. There'll be 3 or 4 wrecks. There'll be 15, 18 cars held together by like, you know, duct tape and chicken wire by the end, and somebody will get across the line. It's just a nuts event. I mean, they drive so aggressively there. It is like go out to 75 on the worst traffic ever and then go like 200 miles an hour. That's what they're doing, man. And I mean, I'm telling you, people just don't respect it. One of the guys in the beat, I won't even name because it was such an ignorant statement about, I can do that. It's all left turns. These guys are absolutely fearless with incredible reflexes. And then they're all like engineers, the way they just understand the cars and all that. Pretty cool sport, man. Underappreciated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch a little bit here and there. I don't understand enough of it, but it's crazy how fast these jokers go.
And how close they drive.
Yeah,
they're up under each other's bumpers, man. So everyone has to drive well. Everyone has to perform. If a play breaks down in football, which happens like more often than not, probably, right? The play blows up. Okay. One guy screws up at Daytona, you're costing, 10, 12 cars you're ripping out of there. And these things, week to week, the cost to get them running. And think about this, last thought I'll say, these guys are blowing out engines and they're running through an engine in 400 or 500 miles. Go out and like ruin your engine in the next 500 miles. You have to redline. They're redlining the car like all day long. It's craziness.
Yep. Isn't Tiger Woods playing an actual tournament?
We didn't get into that. Yeah, Tiger's playing this week at Riviera. We'll see how he's walking. I watched him at the father-son. The guy's striping the ball, but he was in a cart. The issue's his right leg that he destroyed in this accident, and we'll see if he can walk and how well he can what his endurance is. I was surprised he's playing, but it tells me he's definitely going to play the Masters.
Yeah. Edgar, how can everybody read you on your work and follow you on Twitter? Let them know. OS
Gators. I mainly just tweet Gator stuff there, but I like Daytona and stuff because fans get upset when you're tweeting all these other sports out there. But anyhow, man, appreciate the time, Shane, and the format.
Yep. Thank you, Edgar. Have a good day, my man.
Yes, sir. You too.
That's Edgar Thompson. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Before we get out of here, let's get to this day in sports, which is brought to you by Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Give them a call at 352-376-2366. Speaking of Daytona 500, 2021, Michael McDowell navigates through a fiery final lap to claim his first NASCAR Cup Series win in his 14th season. Race delayed by rain for 6 hours after a huge lap 14 crash. That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Hope you enjoyed today's program. We'll pay some bills, and we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.